Human rights brief. Protesters and police in Ukraine were locked in a tense standoff, with the country still reeling from the aftermath of its bloodiest day, when dozens of people died and hundreds were injured in scenes of unimaginable chaos and violence. Emergency talks took place overnight between opposition leaders and President Yanukovych, brokered by 3 EU foreign ministers. President Yanukovych has said he will call snap elections. With the political situation unclear, the streets of Kiev still hum with danger. The trial of 3 Al Jazeera English journalists, Mohamed Fahmy, Peter Grest and Baher Mohammed, took place yesterday in Cairo, Egypt. They faced charges of aiding a terrorist organization and endangering national security, apparently for speaking with members of the Muslim Brotherhood, which Egypt has now declared a terrorist group. Their trial was adjourned until March 5 after they appeared in court and pleaded not guilty to all charges against them. Venezuelans have taken to the streets in recent days, leading to gruesome clashes between protesters and police. Their demands are varied, from economic to social. Major social and economic problems have fueled the protests, but as the demonstrations gain steam, officials have pointed fingers at other factors and accused the United States of plotting to destabilize the government. Saudi Arabia rounded up 12,000 Somalis and expelled them to their war-torn and lawless homeland, without giving them any opportunity to ask for asylum. The International Organization for Migration says the Somali Interior Ministry expects Saudi Arabia to deport another 30,000 in the coming weeks. The deportations are part of a Saudi campaign to remove undocumented foreign workers. On February 21, Human Rights Watch said that authorities in Bosnia and Herzegovina should investigate cases of excessive use of force by police against demonstrators on streets and in detention in Tuzla and Sarajevo. Protests in Bosnia and Herzegovina began in Tuzla on February 5, when trade unions members and their supporters demonstrated outside the cantonal government building, as they have done weekly for 6 months. The protests are against layoffs, unpaid salaries, and unduly high severance pay for high-ranking company officials following the privatization of several large companies in the town. Israel's anti-boycott law facilitates lawsuits against Israelis who criticize their government's support for illegal settlements and clearly represents an attempt to chill free speech. On Sunday, 9 Israel Supreme Court justices heard a petition to revoke the law. There is promising news from India, as the lower house of parliament approved amendments that will improve access to pain medication for people suffering from cancer and terminal illnesses. Palliative care advocates are optimistic that the upper house will approve the amendments. Human Rights Watch has said the United States should recall its ambassador to Uganda and review diplomatic relations after the Uganda's leader said he would sign into law a bill prescribing life imprisonment for homosexuals. The New York-based group also said Uganda's international donor partners should clearly and publicly specify the consequences for relations with Uganda if the anti-homosexuality bill becomes law.